Welcome to Let's Talk, your journey to entrepreneurship with Lady Dr. D, the podcast where dreams turn into reality and the world of business is demystified. I'm Dr. Dorothy Brown, your guide on this exciting adventure into the heart of entrepreneurship. Each week, we bring you insightful conversations with industry trailblazers, visionary startups, and seasoned entrepreneurs who share their unique journeys, challenges, and triumphs. So, buckle up and get ready to embark on your journey to success. Let's talk entrepreneurship. We have stories to share and futures to create. Welcome back to Let's Talk, your journey to entrepreneurship with Lady Dr. D. In this episode, we are excited to feature David Muir again, part 2. The visionary behind the acclaimed photo art collection, Pieces of Jamaica. His work beautifully captures the island's rich culture and spirited humanity, leading to national and international acclaim. David has not only been recognized locally as one of South Florida's 100 most accomplished Caribbean Americans, but he's also been honored for his artistic contributions by various cities. Join us as we explore the journey of creating his latest collection, Jamrock Edition, and the impact of storytelling through photography. Don't miss this exciting discussion. Now, by the way, if you would like to be a part of his mentorship, again, check out his photography course at Thomas Ed Learning Center in Wellington, Florida. Check for more details in our description.
So in the context of being an entrepreneur and being now, let's just, sort of go up in age. So I'm in New York. I've decided that I'm not doing music anymore. And it's so interesting how the world changed for 9/11. This occurrence, I was living in the city, this thing happened in the city, and I'd always wanted to leave New York, even though I love a lot of things about it. Too cold. I want a warm place. I want to live in a warm place. And it was always something we'd been considering. But 9/11 happened, I was like, okay,
That's it.
this is easy. Outer, we're gone by New York, going to warmth. And, we considered many places, but Florida was an easy decision because it's closest to
Jamaica.
Right, there's no other point, unless I'm going to go to Cuba, might as well go back to Jamaica. So Florida was just the closest place to home, so it was an easy decision to live in Florida. And with that came another change. So again, I mentioned a few different ventures, but moving to Florida and being now so close to Jamaica, photography became much more important because now I was undertaking in my mind to capture Jamaica as I remembered it growing up. And that was something that really and truly I could not curb the enthusiasm for. I really wanted to be able to tell stories about my childhood by photography. And
So is that how your entrepreneurship as an author began? Is that how that came into being? And how you
yes and no.
that's what kind of curated the space for you to become make
yes
the
and
books?
no.
Okay.
Yes and no. So the books came long after that. I mean, I had not thought of. I wasn't planning to do a book. I was doing it for myself. Think about it. If I'm documenting my childhood, who is that for? It's for me. I wasn't planning to give it to anybody else. I was saying, hey, I love photography. It's a hobby. I had a role as a father and as a family person to, as someone who could take pictures, document everything, my children growing up and so on. I wasn't thinking about photography
So
beyond.
it's legacy too for the kids?
If they want it to be. I don't. I want my children to live whatever is their truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so if this is legacy for them, then I'm glad for them. And if they don't want it, no worries. I'm not worried about
So
that.
legacy from the standpoint
No,
that
legacy from any standpoint. I like how you're going to reframe it, but I'm saying it the way I want my children to hear it.
okay.
But
No,
go ahead.
And they, I think they heard it and they probably already
They
know
know,
this,
they
right?
know, they know.
But legacy from the standpoint that they know where you grew up and they have it captured for them for later on, for the grandkids and so on. Right?
So I got grandkids already. So
Right?
so their grandkids already have that. But my children genuinely understand my love for Jamaica. So much so that they too love Jamaica. And I say, so my eldest son, I know he kind of beat up Jamaica and that he don't want his wife to go, it's not safe, or, he will go, but she mustn't go because it's not safe. Those things crack me up. But my sons all think of Jamaica as home. No, and partially because of me, and partially because of themselves. You have to give them credit for how they have experienced life. But my kids went back to Jamaica as kids. Like every summer they would get sent to camp and do different and spend time with grandparents or whatever. So they have the Jamaican experiences too, even though they didn't grow up there alone. They had parts of their growing up influenced by Jamaica, for sure. And the food, for sure. And the language, for sure. And the music, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So if you want to learn now, the real transition for me to photography as a business was really looking for another business. So I didn't know that I could make photography work financially. Like I said, maybe until I was in my early 40s. Yeah, I was at early 40s. And what made me decide was a couple of factors. So I happened into an art exhibition. Like I was doing my photography of Jamaica for myself. There was this new technology out called Facebook. And so I would occasionally share pictures there and people would get excited. So it made me feel better. Oh, like maybe my pictures are good because people get excited. But I think what really happened was someone was having an art exhibition, Nikki Lopez actually, at 1310 Gallery. And she had seen my work. I did a photo shoot at her place with her sister. It was a combination of things that happened. And she was like, hey, like you could show some of your pictures in my gallery showing. And when I agreed to do that, it was not expecting what occurred next. I didn't realize, well, maybe I should say that a different way. I had no idea that my work would have the value it did to other people until it was exhibited. And then once I saw that, it definitely opened my eyes in a new way. But I'd already decided to do photography as a business, so it's almost as if I planned it, but I didn't actually plan it. It was, I had written some things down in a business plan that ended up becoming the reality, but genuinely I did not know what was going to happen. I had no idea until it happened. It was a surprise.
Oh wow. Tap into that subconscious, huh?
Yeah,
That
definitely.
subconscious has some ideas and some plans that came to fruition for you that you didn't consciously see, right?
Definitely.
Man.
Again, I saw bits and pieces, but I really didn't know. I didn't know at all. And again, there's this, inside me, now we're talking about not just me as an entrepreneur, but me as an artist. I had a lot of imposter syndrome going on. I never genuinely thought that because I could take good pictures or because I could tell stories through photography, that I didn't think of that making me an artist. And I'd always worked in a creative way. I've been doing creative things my whole life, but I still never saw myself as, or would refer to myself as an artist. And it was actually maybe at my third or fourth exhibition that another photographer came, and he he kind of shook me up a little bit, because he was like you're not calling yourself an artist. Like, he was hearing that I was not, and he's like, bro, you're an accomplished artist, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And he was like, no. He's like, you gotta change your language, like, because you're hurting other people like myself who wants to be an artist, and you're doing it. You have shows, you have all this stuff going on, and you're just saying, no, I'm not an artist. You're not an artist. And he was like, you gotta man up to this artist thing, because you're definitely an artist, a successful artist, and you're here telling people, oh, you're not an artist. So I've gotten help in many ways, even just owning a label.
Let's talk about that for a little bit, because that imposter syndrome is something that I've also talked about with another entrepreneur who said and she's a photographer too, nurse turned photographer, and she had the same doubts, the same thoughts around who am I to be, those type of things. And we talked about it. The way she talked about it was from the perspective of it being, she personalized it. She called her the imposter syndrome. And so we talked about it being more, not so much of personalizing it, but from the perspective of it being a threat. Because in business, typically you'll hear of the SWOT analysis. And so usually I think of imposter syndrome as one of the threats that you just, right? Shut up and be quiet, because I feel like it really gets in the way of, like that man said to you, the true artist that you really are. You need to believe that too. And I think that's so important for a lot of people out there, is for them to quiet that threat and actually truly embrace the genius that they really are through being obedient to what they're called to do. Because listen, this Pieces of Jamaica, folks, if you have not bought one, you will see the genius that we're talking about. Consider getting yourself a coffee. And you can pay me later. Because, I have it and brought it home and really started going through it. And I appreciated it so much, because it brought back, I felt so at home just going through the book. It didn't just tell a story. It brought on emotions. And that's genius. When your work can bring out emotions, shut that imposter syndrome up, okay?
So that's great to hear, and that's what literally let me know my first exhibition. I saw people with tears. I saw reactions. I couldn't even understand how people were seeing my work in that way. First time ever. And that gave me a new way to look at myself and the stuff that I had been doing. Because again, I tell you, genuinely, this was completely self-motivated, without profit or money being considered at all. I literally was just doing it because I love Jamaica so much. But then how do I then translate that into doing it outside of Jamaica? So like now I shoot for, or let's just say I have shot for many municipalities around the world. I've been to many places to shoot. I've worked in Asia and in Europe and in Africa and South America. And all of this, it's not my home that I'm documenting. So clearly it's translatable, but I didn't know that at first either. Like when you first know that people are reacting to this artistic endeavor, a lot of it felt like, well, yeah, it's Jamaica. I'm not much to do with it, because all I have to do is present this beautiful place, and it's, I mean, how easy is it to be a photographer in Jamaica. Like, you know, in my mind,
Yeah.
that's how I viewed it. And then, and I'll always bash them a little bit. You mentioned Jamaica Tourist Board. When I started to feel a little confident, I went and said, hey, Jamaica Tourist Board, I want to take pictures of Jamaica for you guys, not just my own little hobby thing. And I definitely got shot down big time. I was so embarrassed by how they received what I thought was no. My confidence was strong, and I went forward and said, here is my work. And they were like, no, this is trash. This is not good. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Oh, you almost got something good here. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And even though that was one person, it felt like the world had crushed me. So that was challenging to overcome, to say the least. But now I can say I've worked for the Tourist Board a few times, and they seem to believe that the work is good now. And from what I've heard, the metrics say that my pictures work for them. So they come back and they hire me again. So in time, everything can work itself out. But I definitely, I went through some growing up in artistry. And now I can say for sure, again, I'm always trying to bring it back to the idea of being an entrepreneur, is that, lest I say this, but knowing the value of your work is interesting, especially in an art field, because there was a time that I thought my work was worth $10, and other people might have thought it was worth $20. And then there was a time I felt it was worth $100, and the same people that thought it was worth 20 still said, well, no, it's only worth 20. How are you going to 100? So there's all these different levels of you have to grow through and change. And I would tell you that I'm proud now to say that my work is worth more than 100. But it's always, as an entrepreneur, interesting how to price your artistic self, because it's different than a product. So I also have business. See, I'm here wearing my Postnet shirt. I have to big up. This is one of my more recent entrepreneurial endeavors, and here we sell. Literally, I bought it for a penny, and I sell it back at 2 pennies, and I have to have a margin because I have to pay my rent, and I have to pay the staff, and I have to pay.
You have to pay your
all
overhead.
of the overheads and so on, and I have to make a little profit so I can pay my salary. And so as you learn to be an entrepreneur, it's very different than a hustler, because in a hustler, you don't necessarily see all of the real costs, all of the true costs. I buy something for 50 cents, sure, I can sell it back for 60 cents and I'm all right. But no, 60 cents is not going to cover your true cost. And so again, there are levels to entrepreneurship, levels to understanding how to charge for services and to be professional, truly professional about it. Because you don't want to say, hey, I have, let's just say again, my photography service, I have it for sale. And I'm going to offer it at, again, let's just pretend it's $1,000 an hour. If somebody hires me for 24 hours in a row, can I perform that? Can one person do it? Or do I need 2 of me? And I need to break it into 2 12-hour segments. And so knowing and being an entrepreneur is understanding how to navigate all of these parts, because human capital is capital. It's very, very important to manage that and to sell it in the right way. Because if you are selling David Muir for 12 hours in a row, am I going to be as good a photographer after 11 hours of working, or am I going to be popped down? So we have to know that there's limits to how everything is done. And that's experience, that's, you know, just really gaining wisdom from time and experience. It's just, there's a lot.
Yeah. You know, I want to talk a little bit more about your photography.
Please.
Business. Only because you've won awards, right?
Yeah, but yes.
So listen, I cannot downplay international acclaims, right? And I cannot downplay winning awards for photography, because there's a lot of photographers out there, but your work caught the eye of somebody who thought it was that good to be able to give you an award for. No.
And I thank you. But
You want to talk a little bit about?
I will talk a little bit, but I'm going to tell you again,
I know.
being fair and honest. If I enter a competition and I win it, does it make me the best? No, it just means I entered and I was better than some people on that one occasion. Maybe all the photographers who entered that competition that I won, they might all be better than me most of the time, and just that day they didn't submit the right work. Like, I don't want to just tell you, like, oh, let me tell you, because I've won an award or two, that now makes me some special photographer. I am special because I've produced great work, but as an artist, I am genuinely, honestly telling you that it's very subjective. It is.
We know that. It's always subjective.
I've entered,
but take credit where it's due.
I've entered work where I'm sure I'm going to win, and I don't win, and I'm like, what? Can they see like, this is my bestest work? I have other work that winning awards and is not my best, but my best and it's not winning. So again, I said subjective. Even in my photography classes, I love teaching. Teaching is like one of the greatest things ever. And when I teach photography, I'm very passionate. I love it very much. Mm-hmm. But when I'm telling people, I tell them, all my students, hey, this is what won this week, and this is second place, third place. And it's okay if they disagree. It does not mean because I have selected this as the best work from the class that it's really the best. It's just the best to me. And I have my standards, but it doesn't make it the rule. Yeah. It does not make it the rule.
And that's the thing with art too. You know, it's what I say is that it's like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder.
But so talking now about my photography business. All right. Yeah, I am happy to talk about that business.
So there's so much to it though.
There is.
Right?
Yes.
So it's not just you working with the tourist board.
No, there's other parts.
It's also with you, and this is where I've seen you all over doing different events, those types of photography. And they're not the little
don't do that.
But I haven't seen you at a birthday party.
No,
not minimizing a birthday party. No, but I've seen you at major events.
Right. So I typically don't do work at birthday parties, not because I wouldn't love shooting at a birthday party.
It's not minimizing it. Work is work.
But I'm going to clarify for you. Again, you're talking about my business now, and I'm going to tell you business-wise. Again, here it is giving my secrets, not secrets, but my...
We are mentoring.
Yes, let me mentor. I made some decisions about how to run my business. And because I come from a community of people who do not appreciate photography the way that I think they should, I didn't think it was wise to sell personal photography services, because I don't believe that people would pay what I need to earn to live my life in that way. So I intentionally don't do weddings and birthday parties and things of that nature, because my community, my immediate community, I don't think values that work the way that I would want to be paid. So it don't make sense I go to them and say, hey, I need you to pay me $1,000 an hour, when that's not how they value that work. So that's part of why I don't do birthday parties. Not because I wouldn't love it, I just don't think the people who are hosting a birthday party want to pay my rate that I want to charge. So that was part one of that. But part two of that is, so I also very, very intentionally went after corporate, because my goal in photography was to work 9 to 5. I didn't want to work when people were on break. Most of my life in entertainment, throughout all my 20s and even into my 30s a little bit, I was working when everybody else was
12
enjoying
to 8
themselves.
in the morning.
Right. So I didn't want that to be my life anymore. So part of choosing photography as a business was also choosing certain types of photography that would not force me to work Friday through Sunday. I wanted to work Monday through Thursday type of thing.
Yes.
So that was very intentional. Additionally, very intentional is that, yeah, like you say, I do work a lot of important events or events that are perceived to be at a high value level. But even in that, to me, I think of event photography almost as, in a way, the bottom of photography. I don't think of that as a premier thing to do. So even though I do, yes, very high-end events, and I do a lot of work for Visit Lauderdale. So that's one of my best clients for about 20 years now. And Visit Lauderdale is a tourism arm of Broward County. So Visit Lauderdale, they have, for example, the convention center, the Broward County Convention Center, and there's a lot of events that take place there like year-round. That's a big part of their business. And so being aligned with not so much even them, but with Broward County and the government of Broward County, I get to do a lot of work in venues like that. I do a lot of work with places like the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. So I still stay around performances, which I love, and I enjoy doing comedy shows and musicians playing, and I even get to shoot at a Barry's concert and things that happen in these places. Whereas that's wonderful for me. I get to be around my culture in a way that I get paid to do work, and I'm happy to do it. So I've placed myself in a space that allows me to enjoy the work that I'm doing, which is really a big part of it. I love people, and so anytime I get to interact with people, that's going to make me overall very happy.
That's another important point, right? Because they tell us all the time, you hear the saying all the time, once you're enjoying what you're doing, you never work. You're not really working. You're working. We know we're working. But so, it doesn't feel like the stress of work, because you're enjoying the people you're working with, whatever it is you're doing with people. You're making connections, your relationships.
But in photography, you still have to edit and deliver. So there's still the stress. There's still the work part. But no, a big part of my work is fun. It's not work at all. But there's still work.
There's still work, I know.
Yeah, because, when
the
fun...
I'm learning. Us sitting here is the fun part.
Right, exactly.
And editing after this.
Thank you.
Yes.
That people don't see, because I do that in the dark or at home or away in the office. And so people, when they're paying you, they're like, "What? How you must get $10,000 and I just saw you for 1 hour?" Well, I'm going to spend 10,000 hours producing the final product that you're going to enjoy.
Putting all the stuff together.
Correct.
Yes. Crazy.
And so people, again, they don't...
Perception.
So, so I like being perceived as a photographer who's only at the highest and the highest, because it's kind of true, but it's also what I love to do. I love to be around people, and so event photography, even though I consider it, for me, in a way, the lowest of the photography that I do, it's also some of the most enjoyable, because I love people and I love the interactions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, anything else you want to talk about with photography? Because I know there is island space.
Yes.
That's
a whole nother side.
It's a whole
different side.
You want to talk about that, or?
This is your interview. I want to talk about Postnet. Here we go. This is I'm wearing this intentionally. So.
Because your businesses complement each other.
I hope so.
Right? And so we're going to talk about all of them.
Good.
So
no, man,
when you're ready.
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of being...
I know you're being a little...
A little troublemaker-ish.
The rogue is coming out.
No, man, it never leaves. Really, if you ask my wife, she will tell you, it never leaves. So, what I would say about the photography part is that in all serious business, because I love the fun and the joke, I love to chuckle, and I'm always having fun, but in all serious business, there is the proper business that needs to be done. And so what I would say about photography is that anyone who wants to pursue this type of business, you need to understand a couple of things. One is the first, I think, most important primary thing is that it is a creative work. And when you've created something, that creation is your intellectual property. And intellectual property has a value. And you have to understand how to sell your intellectual property. And most people don't get taught that. And so there is no context for how to charge or how to be properly compensated for that work. And I wish, even for myself today, that there was really a structured way of understanding that so that you knew your true value. I've made my value and I've made peace with how I've priced myself and done this work. But even in pricing, let's just say, I can mention even one particular instance where I was doing work for one tourist board, and I was working on a project, and it was, you know, like a 6-month project, and another client wanted to hire me at the same time, and said, no, this was great and terrible, because I wanted to do both jobs, but I couldn't do both at the same time. And so one client said, listen, I'll pay you to stop doing the other client's work. That's a great compliment, but also a good conundrum about now, how do you price that? And so it allowed me to see my work in a whole different value, because let's just say I was working for $20 an hour at the time, and I said to the other folks that were trying to get me to stop the other job, I said, well, you know, normally I would charge you $20, but I'm going to have to charge you $60. And they were like, sure. And I was like, shoot, I should have said 80. I should have said 100. You know, like, so these are the things that I would never have tested on my own, but demand forced me to test a new pricing structure. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Customers have a way of giving you that type of feedback, right?
I'm
where they're
worth
saying,
more than I thought I was worth.
Right. So the feedback really was you're undercharging, and so therefore you don't even realize the value you're providing. Absolutely. So they're telling you the value you're providing and commanding you to price up.
Yeah. So, you know.
Those are much appreciated lessons that come in a roundabout way a lot of times,
Very
right?
roundabout way.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. So talk about wait, you want to talk about Postnet?
This is hilarious. Sure, I definitely want to talk about Postnet. So Postnet is the first business I've done with my wife, Karen. So that's tremendous, because I've only done many business ventures through all my life with many different business partners. But this is new, because now I go to work with my wife, and that's a whole different complexion. So that's where I left to come and meet you here. So I was, you know, at the Postnet. And so it's a business that provides business services to, and I say business services, it provides service to anybody. We do, I'm going to say, shipping, mailing. We do USPS, that's the regular government post office work. We do their work. We do FedEx, we do UPS. We also do printing of every nature. So we do prints on foam core, we do pull-up banners, we do business cards, we do posters, we do postcards. We do all types of printing. And then we do a whole lot of the in-between stuff. We do notary, we do laminating, we do coil binding. I could go on and on. Just all these services provided in a brick and mortar is just a whole new ballgame, because I've not done a brick and mortar business like this in forever. So for me, it is such a wonderful change, but it takes a lot more energy than I remembered. So it's been a long time, and it's now an awakening. It's a whole new space. But it is great to literally to be able to do that with your family. So, you know, everybody said, don't do business with your family, mistake. And it probably is a mistake for 90% of people. But I know this is good with my wife, and you know, hopefully it remains good with her too. we both have very strong personalities, and so it can be challenging. But it is, I think, a great thing that we get to spend even more time together, because now it's every day, all day, not just at night time. And it is fun. And now I'm also able to provide services to the community in a different way. So like we're members of, and this now will definitely bring me back to Island Space, but like we're members of CAPSI. For those who are not familiar, CAPSI is Caribbean Americans for Community Involvement. And so that's an organization in, I'm going to say in Palm Beach, just to be general, that I'm a member of as somebody from the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
And while I can volunteer and MC an event, or I can volunteer and do things, I can do other things. Like we can print their newsletter, and we just printed a newsletter recently, and we can do that for them gratis, and it's helping the community. And so it's okay to find other ways to now utilize your business to make impact with your community. So yeah, it's really, and like you say, it's complementary, because we also do things like photographic prints for other photographers. One of my good friends, Greg Reed, recently was doing did shot for Formula One at the Miami Grand Prix just a few, maybe 2 months ago, and so he brought his photography for me to print that he was going to now gift back to the people at Formula One. And so there is that good full circle of things that you can do for your colleagues, for your community, and so on. And it's like they appreciate when you are serious about giving great quality service. So I think that's enough about Postnet. Unless you have a question.
I have a question.
Sure.
So because I'm thinking the photo tiles, Shutterfly, because you mentioned cards, right?
Yeah.
Greeting cards. And the turnaround time for some of those companies that you do online, I mean, it's convenient because you do it online, but what's your turnaround time?
It depends on...
Can you do stuff online and then it's shipped to you, or
You can, and we can do
pick it up?
We can do pick up, we can do delivery. We also have a shipping arm of the business, so we can definitely provide that. But yeah, we can do any part of it, and we can turn around some things same day and some things in a week. It just depends on how much process. Like, recently currently I have a client waiting on a job that's going to take probably about 3 weeks in total to deliver, and they're like, well, why is it taking so long? And I'm like, well, it depends on what you are having done. Like if you want just a postcard or even a poster printed, and I have the papers that you want in stock, and I can literally just hit print, then yes, you probably could get it same day. But people also have to remember, the machines are finite, and if there's jobs that are being in line, you can't come in now and just skip to the front of the line. That's one of the things. But two, separately, some parts of printing is not just the printing. It's how is it folded. Like we have a map that we're doing currently that has 27 different folds before it's finished. So, and you have to make sure you get it right every time. So it's it folded 3 this way and 6 times this way. Imagine 27 different folds before it's a finished product. That takes time, and it takes a special machine. It takes a special worker to move it from parts of the machine to other parts. Like these are not things that are immediate. So people sometimes miss the context of printing a pull-up banner. Sure, the actual vinyl banner that you pull out of the frame takes us maybe 10 minutes to print, but we still have to put it in the frame and make sure it works and mechanically. And so lots of time people miss that it's not just clap your hands and here's the final product.
Or just run it through the machine, and once it comes out, you're done.
You're done.
Ready to go.
But then it also, if the packet was put in a box, was put in packing paper. There's process to everything.
And there's quality check. You want to make certain that you printed in the way that you want it. Because you want, when customers get the product, they're like, yes.
That's right.
Satisfied.
Yeah, and I do have customers who are going to check, this is not the right color teal or not the right color blue. See, here's a Pantone number, and here, look, match, no, this. So
Yeah.
So it depends on the client, the customer. Some people don't care. The printed, red is red. Red is not red.
No.
So we have to be mindful that when we do things like this in business, that we're going to have clients who want their things done with the right quality.
Yes. And you want to give the quality too. It's not that you just want to.
I want to make profit.
True. But you want value for money.
Yeah, man. People who know me know that I'm going to give the quality.
All right. So this is your newest venture, Postnet.
It is absolutely. This is the only business I've started in 2025.
So you mentioned that Postnet is a collaborative effort with your spouse, which is the first venture together?
First venture together, yeah.
So with that puts me in mind to discuss with you support. Because along the journey, you've talked about having partners along the way and having support with different partners.
Yeah, man, but let me be clear. Family support is always there. My children, my wife, my spouse, whatever you want to, always support. Always support. Loads of it. My children, I mean, even when we get to the museum, my children would have to go before there was a museum, a physical location. We literally used to go and do tours and take the stuff, and we have to go unpack the cases, and Khalid would come and make them neat and pretty, and we would have to pack them back and put them in the truck and take them to the next location. And this is my children at every age. I'm out there selling my books, and my 10-year-old or my 7-year-old or whatever is out there taking money from people. So again, that passing down the entrepreneurial spirit, no question, my kids have worked within the structure of their dad is a entrepreneur, that's a hustler, he's going to be doing something. And at every level. So yeah, all the ways, for sure.
All right, because I think in this space, support is always important. Because, one of the things I mentioned in my first episode was that it's not a solo journey. Definitely not, because there's so much support that you need from different angles, for different things, even from the keeping your mindset right. It's okay. Your work is just as good, even when the tourist board said trash, because that's how you interpret it, trash. But you want the support to say no, them to know what I'm talking about. It's not trash, right?
That's not easy, but yeah, you need it, and I got it. That's again why I always want to give back. Is I received so much love and so much help at every level, no matter what I've done, and not just from family and not just from friends, even from people who are casually acquaintances have helped me and poured into me in so many ways at every level. And because of that, I'm so grateful for that, that I feel that I am obliged to help anybody that wants help, because I feel just the gratitude for the help I've received all throughout my life.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, any last tips or words of wisdom? Any lessons that we've not touched on that you think we need to share? Take your time.
Plenty. I mean, what kind of open-ended question is that? Well, I haven't really talked about partnerships, and I think that's critical. Like, I don't know who can do anything on their own. I haven't, and so I think that, one of the most critical things. So I'll mention, Khalid Thompson is my business partner. We own a for-profit business together. Actually, we own 2 for-profit businesses together. But we also are the co-founders, David and Khalid, of Island Space Caribbean Museum. And so, how is it? So now that makes 3 businesses that we have together, at least, anyway, in the context of the conversation. How do you handle business partners? How do you cope? Because I've said to her at least once or twice, me done, This is it, I'm gone. I can't do this no more. I'm not loved or respected enough, or whatever it is, that emotion. So I would tell you that if you're asking me what is it to share, I think that, you know, whoever you're doing business with, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whoever, whatever it is, the most important thing is that you make sure that you show them how much you appreciate them, really, not just some empty words, and then you also learn to see when they respect and love you back, because a lot can be lost, and when there are the hot moments, and there'll always be those, you don't want to just throw out the baby with the bathwater. You want to make sure that you are cognizant of the good stuff is so good that the few moments of bad are not worth ending it all.
Yeah.
And I've had many business partners, and I've had many end, and some continue for very, very long periods, but some of them end. And even with the best intentions, just like a marriage that anybody get married, plan to marry forever, and look how much of them don't work out. So in the same way, when you have a business partnership, from the very beginning, plan for it to be how it's going to end, because people always forget that there needs to be a way to dissolve, or, you know.
So are you suggesting that, or recommending that, when you're selecting a partner, whether it's selected for you or it's not selected for, sometimes it's not necessarily selected, you know, the opportunity presents itself, and there's you know,
absolutely.
it comes together
there's
organically.
All kind of synchronizations,
right?
And synergies that bring people together that
Right.
you never planned for.
But even with those types of situations where it comes together organically, are you suggesting that there be legal contracts in place outlining?
Absolutely. And I personally find legal contracts very uncomfortable, because I want to just trust and say we're good. But I'm going to highly recommend that any business venture should be business. And to be business, you need to have contracts that state the nature of the business, the rules that govern how you're conducting business, and the rules that govern how you dissolve the business. It's critical, and I recommend it for everybody, even those who never plan to end. And I never have started a business that I planned the ending.
Yeah, but we go through seasons.
Yeah, man, you have to be prepared for it. And like I said, I'm still currently running these multiple businesses with Khalib, and she is a great business partner, but she's challenging. Most people I know are afraid of her. And it's not because she's scary at all. It's just that she is so driven and so hardworking and so focused on being successful. Most people can't deal with that.
Yeah.
I can deal with it, but sometimes it's challenging. And so it's always good to have a plan. And then sometimes disaster strikes when you don't expect it. Perfect example, COVID. Our business are chugging along, doing great. One of our, you know, with so many adventures we've done, it's crazy. But one of them would be like Taste Islands. So Taste Islands was a television show and a food festival that we were doing. So first, I believe, let me carefully say this, first Caribbean cooking show on national television in America, Taste Islands, created by Khalib Thompson, my business partner, and I guess supported by me. And along the way, it evolved that we now had a food festival that we started, which led further down the line to the museum. And there's a clear delineation of how this TV show led to the food festival that led to a physical Caribbean museum. First in the world Caribbean museum. But in all of this moving along, nowhere did we know what was going to happen. And when COVID came, 2020, it literally forced us to change the entire, let me say, pivot, let's say, you know, whatever you want to use as a term. We had to completely reimagine our business, because everything we were doing stopped, and there was no more demand, and we had to live, we had to eat. So this is the thing about business. You can't plan for that, because that was such a drastic one. But even the not drastic ones require structure. So you have to have your written out rules in place. This is the arrangement, etc. So I think that's really important. And go ahead.
I want to ask you, what else would you attribute to the success in partnerships that you've experienced? So, for example, do you regularly sit down and not necessarily powwow, but go over the plan to make certain that the plan is, you're both...
That would be wise. We don't do it.
I mean...
So my business partner and I hardly even talk. And not because, no malice, we're just both busy doing a lot of different stuff. She's a creative person I let her be herself. She's doing it. I don't interfere. And she let me do what I'm doing. And we just make sure that, okay, you pay this bill, you pay that bill, whatever. So we don't do a lot of on top of each other at all in that regard, both for good and bad, because it's definitely had us lose opportunities because we're not as regimented. But again, I think it's important to be happy, and I'm happy. I'm happy. I love the space that I'm in. Even though it's not perfect, I love the space I'm in. And that's why I love now working with my wife in this way, is that it's challenging. We have, very difficult moments because it's a husband-wife situation. But I'm very happy that we get to partner in this way. It's a new venture, feeling new, all types of stuff, but it's really, really good. And sort of going back to advice about business partners is, again, remember, business, number one, is making money. And then two, everybody wants to live happy. So don't stay business partners with somebody if they're causing you to be unhappy.
Okay. So know when to let go.
You have to know when to let go, and that's why no matter what, you need to have contracts and stuff in place, because you might both want to separate, but neither one of you want to let go of the business. So you have to have a rule in place. If we want to split, do we bust it in two? Do somebody buy out the other one at this rate? You have to have these things planned, because you never know when you're going to have this feeling of, I don't want to work with this person anymore. And if a structure isn't in place,
then it's, yeah.
And I think all business is going to have to face those challenging moments. So why not have it written down, how you resolve it?
Okay. So that's partnership. Anything else you want to share about partnership that you've...
No, that's plenty. That's a lot. That's a lot. We can always, if you have a question, I will answer, but that's a lot.
All right. So we talked about, partnerships is one thing that came out in your journey. The other thing that came out in your journey is the transitions. Even though, if I got it right, things were concurrent.
Oh yeah, a lot of things are concurrent.
But there were the main things, certain main things.
Main things always
were seasonal.
Definitely.
And when the season ended, then you moved on. Now, how was that transition? Meaning, how do you actually, even though you have the other things concurrently going, what would you advise about how you make the transitions? Because some of them may be tidier transitions to make than others. There may be easy transitions to make, not so easy transitions, but what would you advise about how to make them?
I have a lot of opinions, and I'm happy to share. I think the transitions are not hard to make, but I think people are hard to make. What I mean by that is, let's say I'm changing from being a photographer, and I'm going to go into some new business, let's call it printing. When I go to customers who need those services, they don't care if I was a photographer for 50 years, if I was the #1 photographer or the #20 photographer in the world. that's have no relevance. They care about what am I delivering in their print.
Mm-hmm.
And so my advice would be to focus on being great at whatever you're providing to your clientele. That's how you handle transitions.
And that's good advice.
That's the most important thing. Be good at what you're doing for your clients today.
Yeah, value.
Value, value, and more value. That's the most important thing. Reputation now is different. So because I have been a well-known person, well-celebrated person in certain fields, it can feel cute in some ways to be like, have no reputation in this area where you're perceived as great in another area.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be interesting. But again, once you deliver great work, once you can give people quality products for their money,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a lot to worry about.
Yeah.
I think that's really the crux of it.
So be consistent in the value that you're providing. Okay. All right.
Definitely.
All right. I like that.
That makes transitions a lot smoother.
All right. Even when it's not an easy transition that you're gonna make.
Yeah, I've made some challenging ones. Definitely. Even when it's a tough one. Yeah. Bring value in what you are presenting is the thing you want, how you want to be viewed today, and that will take care of it.
All right.
It's okay to be brand new and to be great. You could be a savant. You could be, let's just pretend you're going to now become a concert pianist, and you decide this, when you're 25 like you are now. So if you choose to do that, and you go and you play, and you are amazing, melodic and all of great things, wonderful violinist, all of these things that you're doing. Doesn't matter that you've made this transition, because now you're doing it and you're doing it well. And I think that's the best way to approach hard transitions, is to work on being great at what it is you want, how you want to be perceived in the new thing.
And that's not easy. That's not easy at all. But we're talking about a mindset. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're making those transitions, you have to stay positive and not let the threats pull you down.
Correct.
Right? We've dropped some gems today. You've dropped some really good gems. What other gems do you have for us that you want to leave us with? And listen, I'm soaking it all up, because I'm learning as I go along the way. And I've learned so much today. One of the lessons I've learned is, don't let community standards influence what you deeply, truly feel inside is for you, right? Whether you believe it or you don't believe it, because it sounds like part of your journey, you didn't always believe in what you were going to do, but you just went ahead and did it anyway. And I think that's a very precious gem to drop, because there's a lot of people out there who have all these great ideas, all these great things they want to do, and stuck, won't do, right? And then you don't want to regret later on. It sounds like you don't have too many regrets.
No, I don't have any regrets. None. I can look at your camera and say, me?
Me don't have any.
I don't, and again, just beautiful. Like I have so many great things that I could share about life, but I want to bring this one, since you just said something I think is critical to hear.
Yes.
Every person, no, let me take that back. 9 out of 10 people said that a Caribbean museum couldn't work. Literally, over and over and over, I heard, it can't work. It's been tried. It failed. Who was doing it? This big name person tried and never worked, or this other person was doing it, didn't work. Everybody said, this cannot work.
That's another one of the threats, We talked about the imposter syndrome, which is like a voice in your head. But we didn't really talk about the voices that are louder than the voice in your head. The ones that you hear, and they have faces, and you see them who have they did not get the vision you get, but they cannot support the vision you have, because in their mind, it makes no sense. And so a lot of times, You don't do the thing you know you're supposed to do because you got the vision. It's for you to do. That's the unique space that we're talking about sometimes, where you get the vision to move a certain way, and because this person said, no, sir, that makes no sense.
Yeah, I've got a lot of those.
But you still went ahead and did some stuff, right?
Everything. I told you from the very lead-in, I said, managing fear, because people will help you to become afraid of your own shadow. People will help you to be afraid of anything. And I am typically not afraid of anything.
I want to venture to guess that when you made a move, not too many people knew you were making that move until the move was actually made. Meaning, like, there's certain moves you have to make without announcing it until it needs to be announced.
Absolutely.
And people need to know. Because you really don't want the naysayers to kind of...
Yeah, I agree with you, but the naysayer is not going to stop me. Not going to stop me.
All right.
So, but everybody's different, and so you have to manage yourself. And you know, I mean, there's heartbreak in everything. Anybody, if you're going to be very successful, and why would I even say that? What is truly success? But if you're going to perceive success for yourself, you're going to have to push past some very dangerous, challenging moments. And I have had a lot of those, and I am happy to be on the other side of many. I mean, even just last week was a very challenging time, and we got past it.
Yeah. Well, challenging times we talked about too. We talked about the challenges that you've experienced. And, you know, sometimes these challenges, they're not pebbles, they're boulders. Right?
Right.
They're mountaintops.
Absolutely.
That you really have to either kick down, cut around, or just jump over. Period. So, what would you say now to those out there who are experiencing those challenges? Whether they're boulder pebbles or they're mountaintops, what would your advice be? Just do it like Nike.
To some degree, but you have to do it because of rationale. You can't just do it blind. So you have to believe in yourself, and I'm not saying lie to yourself. Believe because you've proven to yourself that you are capable of doing something. So the first time you're going to jump out of a plane and skydive, don't say, this is the time that I don't need a parachute. Like, the first few times use a parachute, because you know. So in everything, go boldly, do the things that are seemingly challenging or impossible, but do it with the right plan and infrastructure, the right people supporting, the right, the right team around you, things like that. So take chances, but take calculated chances. Make things that seem to be impossible possible, because you put enough work in that you defeat the chances of failure.
Yeah, we have a saying where we say, make it make sense.
Exactly.
So do it how it makes sense.
How it makes sense.
Right. All right. Listen, I kind of feel like we could talk a little bit more, but
you could.
We're going to wrap up, and then because of time, you have to be somewhere. Yes. So we're gonna wrap up, and I want to summarize what I heard today of your journey. And one of them is be rogue. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Do the thing that you feel strongly about to do. No matter how small, no matter how big, it doesn't matter. Do the thing. Make certain that when you have the right support. Be selective in who is going to be a part of your journey, those partners. and make certain that your partnerships are solid and well thought out and well discussed, and
Yeah,
make
man.
those contracts,
Get-
right? Also, I heard, don't value the support that you have along the way. Don't underestimate the importance of having the right support, and make certain that you make time for those who are supporting you. I heard that.
Mhm.
I heard it right? Because when you told me you left for family, that's a huge leap. Because a lot of us, when we leave Jamaica, there's so much unknown and there's so much uncertainty, there's so much unpredictability, that for you to make that leap, it's a huge step.
It is. And I left behind a successful business. I say, so I mean, I was doing well. I was doing all right.
Right? It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Like Chris Martin said, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So don't undermine the support that you have. Value them, cherish them. And the other thing I heard too was, don't be afraid to end a season and start the new one. Don't be afraid.
Definitely not.
There is value, there is joy, there's fulfillment, there's contentment, there is whatever it is on the other side of you making that next step. Because, there are seasons.
Definitely.
You know?
I make a lot. I feel like breaking into parts, and I'm stopping myself. Let me not do it. But yes, let me speak properly. Let me speak properly. But genuinely, there's always opportunity for something greater. Like, I did some really fun and what I'm going to say were great things in my early years, teenage years, 20s. I did great stuff that people said, listen, you can't top this. You have done it all. And I've topped and topped and topped all of those things just because I'm not stopping to try to do good stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's next after Postnet and after the museum and so on, but I'm not afraid. I remember it must have been like 4 years ago, I was on an interview, somewhat similar, for this TV show called Growing Bolder. I don't know if you've seen it. No. But it's supposed to be, people over 50 who are doing great things, and so instead of saying growing older, it's growing bolder. Mm-hmm. And so I was interviewed on that show, and I don't think anyone in our community saw it. And then one day somebody saw a clip and shared it, and then all these people were like, David, I can't believe all this stuff you've done, or all this, and I didn't know, and it was just like, yeah, it's great when a lot of little things pile up, and you look and you say, oh, look, we've done a lot of good stuff. So, yeah, yes. just know that you
just
can
do it.
Yeah, you can just be like,
do it.
Just do it.
Absolutely. So, you know what? I am grateful for the time you have invested today in sharing with these folks us and the other folks out there who are entrepreneur and future entrepreneurs. And I wish you success with Postnet.
Thank you.
However you define success.
Plenty of money. I've spent my whole life doing things for other people. I'm doing this one for my family. So this is David and wife trying to make a little money so we can retire peacefully at some point. Don't know when that's coming, but at some point, maybe when we turn, by the time we turn 90 or so, we can consider that, So we have a few years ahead.
Well, God heard that, and we pray that He will honor that for you, and He always does. So the blessings will keep pouring.
Yeah,
they will
good.
Keep, for not just for you, but for your family and the generations, not just the immediate, but all generations. So thank you so much. I appreciate this talk with you. I hope a lot of the fans out there, your fans.
People crack me up with this thing.
Appreciate.
I don't have fans. Or if I have fans, they haven't told me they're fans.
All right, I'm telling you, I'm a fan.
Thank you.
Because for all these years I've been seeing you, I am a fan of this work you do. And for all the running around that I've seen you do, I'm a fan. So I'm telling you.
Thank you.
And I am not one to big up your head, swell up your head just because.
Okay.
It's because I'm being truly honest.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank
and I
you.
know when I see you out there and you're running around, if I don't get to say hi,
Yeah, man, it's good, man.
it's all good. It's all
yeah,
good.
it's definitely all good. I cannot, as much as I love people, I can't give everybody time at every time, because I genuinely I'm trying to produce stuff.
Genius at work. I appreciate that.
I definitely.
So you have to leave, and know that there's a time when we can talk, and when genius is at work, that's that time.
You're this genius at work. Thank
Yes.
you. I appreciate that.
So thank you. So with that, we will wrap up, and we want to say thank you for joining today. Give us your feedback, and if there's anything that resonated with you, please let us know, and we will take into consideration for future episodes the considerations that you share with us. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for being with my guest today.
Absolutely.